How could you betray me like this?
Please calm down. Let me explain.
Explain, eh? You lied to me.
I did it for us.
I want the truth now.
There is a kind of pain that has no name in Yoruba, or English, or any language Titi Adeyemi had ever learned. It is not the pain of hunger, though she knew that too. It is not the pain of grief, though that one had visited her early. It is the specific, quiet agony of realizing that the people who should love you the most have done the calculation, and you came out worth less than they let on. She learned this on a Tuesday morning, sitting on a plastic chair outside her uncle's gate, her hospital bill folded in her handbag, her back aching the way it always ached now, like something deep inside her had been rearranged and never properly put back, which, of course, it had. Titi was 22 when they asked her. She remembers the evening clearly, the parlor of her uncle Pastor Bayadan's house in Bodiha, the ceiling fan turning slowly overhead, the smell of her aunt's egusi soup coming from the kitchen. Her mother sat beside her on the sofa, hands folded in her lap, already wearing the expression of a woman who had decided the answer before the question was asked. Pastor Bayadan had one functioning kidney. The other had failed quietly over years, the way things decay when no one is looking. He needed a transplant. The family had been tested one by one and found incompatible. Cousins, siblings, in-laws. Then they tested Titi. She was a match. God did not make this a coincidence, Pastor Bayadan said, leaning forward in his chair, his voice carrying the same low authority it carried from the pulpit every Sunday. He chose you, Titi. Out of everyone in this family, he chose you. Titi was 22. She sold provisions in Bodiha Market, waking at 5 every morning to arrange her goods before the serious buyers came. She had never been chosen for anything before. The word settled on her like something warm. Her mother signed the papers, Titi signed the papers. No lawyer, no independent doctor, no one sat her down and explained in plain language what a young woman's body sometimes does in the years after it gives a piece of itself away. The surgery happened on a Thursday in March. She remembers the ceiling of the operating theater, white and too bright. She remembers counting backwards and not making it to 7. She woke up with a scar and a room full of relatives who called her a hero. Her pastor Bayadan held her hand and prayed over her and said she had done something eternal. Her aunt brought her pepper soup. Her cousins posted about it on Facebook. Our Titi, what a big heart. God bless her. For a few weeks, she was the most loved person in the family. Then she healed and life resumed, and the love quietly packed its bags and left without saying goodbye. She went back to the market, back to the early mornings, the heavy bags of rice and semovita, the standing for hours in the sun. For a while, it was fine. Then it was not fine. Her remaining kidney, working alone now, doing the labor of 2, began sending signals she didn't know how to read. Fatigue that sleep didn't fix, a dull, persistent ache in her lower back, swelling in her ankles some evenings that frightened her when she pressed her fingers into the skin and watched the dent stay. The doctor at the government hospital was kind but direct. Her remaining kidney was showing early signs of strain. She needed to reduce physical stress, take specific medications monthly, and return for monitoring every 3 months. He slid the paper toward her across the desk. She looked at the numbers. She made, on a good month, 45,000 naira. The medications alone were 11,000. The monitoring visits, another 8. She could not carry heavy goods anymore without her back punishing her for 2 days afterward. She began paying a young boy to help her load and offload, which meant money leaving before it arrived. Her provisions business, which had never been large, began shrinking the way things shrink when you can no longer give them your full body. She tried to manage quietly. She borrowed from a friend. She skipped some monitoring months. She prayed, because prayer had always been the family's first language, and she had not yet learned to speak it. Then, in January, 8 months into the complications, she made the decision she had been avoiding. She would go to Uncle Bayadan. She prepared carefully, the way you prepare when you know you are walking into a place where your pain might not be welcomed. She got the hospital documents, she printed the prescriptions, she wrote down the total amount she needed, 60,000 naira, a specific, modest, one-time request to stabilize her situation. She dressed neatly, she rehearsed what she would say on the Danfo to Bodiha. She was not going to beg, she was going to explain. Pastor Bayadan's gate was painted a fresh cream color. There was a new car in the compound. She did not recognize it. The house had been repainted since she last visited. Everything looked more than it had looked before. Her aunt received her in the parlor and called Bayadan from his study. He came out in an agbada, soft and expensive, the kind a man wears when he is comfortable in his life. He sat across from her. He smiled. She explained, carefully, quietly, the way she had practiced, the complications, the medications, the monitoring. She placed the documents on the center table between them, her 60,000 naira hospital bill on top. Pastor Bayadan looked at the papers. Then he looked at her. Then he leaned back in his chair. Titi, his voice was still gentle, still pastoral, the voice of a man who had given many sermons about suffering building character. What you did was a sacrifice, a true sacrifice, and God rewards sacrifice, not men. The moment you start looking to people to repay what you gave to God, you lose the blessing. Her aunt, from the sofa, nodded slowly. We are not saying we don't care, but Titi, you cannot put a price on what you did. It was spiritual. Titi sat very still. She thought about the building, the new church auditorium Pastor Bayadan's congregation had dedicated 3 months ago. She had seen the photos on her wife's WhatsApp status. 1,200 seats, Italian chairs, a sound system imported from Dubai. She had heard it cost over 40 million naira. 60,000. She was asking for 60,000. She picked up her documents from the center table. She folded them. She put them back in her handbag beside the single kidney God decided she needed to keep. She stood up. She told them she understood. She told them God would provide. She walked out through the cream gate, past the new car, into the afternoon sun, and she did not cry until she reached the bus stop, where a woman she had never met looked at her face and quietly moved to give her room to fall apart in peace. Titi is 24 now. She is still in Bodiha Market, still rising before the sun, still paying the boy to carry what her body can no longer carry alone. She still attends the monitoring appointments she can afford and skips the ones she cannot. She still takes her medications on the months her numbers allow it to. She has not been back to her uncle's house. She watches his wife's WhatsApp status sometimes, church events, Thanksgiving services, a family holiday in Accra last December. She does not feel hatred. She has looked for it inside herself, and it is not there. What is there, instead, is something quieter and more permanent, a knowledge that settled into her bones the day she walked out of that gate, that some people will hold your sacrifice like a trophy until you need something back, that God will reward you sometimes means I will not, that being chosen is not the same as being valued. She still prays. Old habits and old faiths are stubborn things. But some nights, when the ache in her back wakes her at 2 in the morning, and the room is dark and the city is quiet, she lies there and does the arithmetic of her life, what she gave, what it cost, what came back. And she thinks about that evening in the parlor, the ceiling fan, the agusi soup, her mother's already decided hands, and a man who told a 22-year-old girl that God had chosen her. She wonders if God knew what the bill would be. She wonders if he would have warned her.
We must find the strength to believe in a better tomorrow. Every small step we take together brings us closer. Let our shared dreams light the way forward. Oh, my dear, what's the matter? It's just been so hard lately. I'm here for you. We'll get through this together. Thank you. That means so much. Here is the money. Please use it well. Thank you, my sister. I will. I know you will. Safe journey. And you. See you soon.